Have you ever felt like your own mind is working against you? Like no matter how hard you try, you just can't stop replaying that one conversation, that one mistake, or that one what if. Here's the truth no one talks about. Overthinking isn't a sign that you're careful or prepared. It's a trap. And the worst part, the more you try to think your way out of it, the deeper you sink. But what if I told you that breaking free from this exhausting mental loop doesn't require years of therapy or endless self-help books? In fact, the solution might be simpler and faster than you think. Today, I'm going to show you why everything you've been told about overthinking is wrong and how just a few small shifts can completely transform the way you think, feel, and live. So, if you're tired of feeling stuck in your own head, if you're ready to stop second-guessing every decision and start living with clarity and confidence, is cheeky with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have the tools to silence the noise, take back control, and finally, breathe again. Overthinking is like being stuck on a mental treadmill. You're running, but you're not getting anywhere. It's that endless loop where your brain replays scenarios, analyzes every detail, and questions every decision. You might think you're solving problems, but in reality, you're just exhausting yourself. Imagine staring at a text message for hours, debating whether to add a smiley face or not. That's overthinking in action, mentally draining, yet completely unproductive. But here's the kicker. Overthinking doesn't make you smarter. It just makes you tired. What makes overthinking so sneaky is how it disguises itself as being thorough. You tell yourself, I'm just being careful. But deep down, it's fear driving the wheel. Fear of making the wrong choice, fear of failure, or even fear of judgment. It's like your brain is trying to protect you, but instead, it traps you in a cycle of doubt. And the worst part, the more you think, the less clarity you have. It's like trying to see through muddy water. The harder you stir, the cloudier it gets. The real danger of overthinking is how it steals your time and energy. Hours pass, and you're still stuck in the same mental loop. You replay conversations, dissect decisions, and predict outcomes that may never happen. It's exhausting, isn't it? But here's the thing. Breaking free from overthinking starts with understanding why it happens in the first place. And trust me, once you see the patterns, you'll realize there's a way out. Picture this. It's 2 a.m. and you're lying in bed staring at the ceiling. Your body is exhausted, but your mind, it's wide awake, running a marathon of thoughts. You replay that awkward conversation from earlier, wondering if you said the wrong thing. Then, out of nowhere, you're thinking about a deadline at work, a bill you forgot to pay, or even something embarrassing that happened years ago. It's like your brain has opened every mental tab, and now you're stuck scrolling through them all. Sound familiar? This is the vicious cycle of insomnia fueled by your mind latches onto one thought, then another. And before you know it, hours have passed. You try to tell yourself, just stop thinking. But it's like telling a fire to stop burning. It only makes things worse. The more you fight it, the stronger it gets. And let's not forget the physical toll. Your heart races, your chest feels tight, and the stress builds up, making sleep even more impossible. It's a cruel irony. Your brain is trying to solve problems, but it's creating more in the process. Now, here's the twist. This late-night overthinking isn't random. It's often triggered by unresolved worries or emotional baggage from the day. Maybe it's anxiety about the future or guilt over the past. Whatever the cause, your brain sees the quiet of the night as the perfect stage for a mental replay. But what if there was a way to break this cycle? What if you could train your mind to let go and finally get some rest? Overthinking is like a mental hamster wheel. You keep spinning, but you never actually get anywhere. At its core, overthinking is the act of obsessively analyzing situations, decisions, or problems to the point where it becomes counterproductive. It's not just thinking a lot. It's thinking in circles, revisiting the same thoughts over and over without reaching a resolution. For example, you might spend hours dissecting a simple email, wondering if your tone was too harsh or if you should have added more details. The result? Exhaustion, frustration, and zero progress. What makes overthinking so tricky is that it often feels productive at first. You convince yourself that by analyzing every angle, you're being thorough or preparing for the worst. But in reality, it's a trap. Instead of finding clarity, you get stuck in a loop of doubt and second guessing. This is where the paralysis of analysis comes into play. You're so overwhelmed by options and what-ifs that you can't make a decision at all. It's like trying to untangle a knot by pulling on every thread, only to make it tighter. The key to understanding overthinking lies in recognizing its emotional roots. It's often driven by anxiety, perfectionism, or fear of failure. Your brain, in an attempt to protect you, magnifies potential risks and replays past mistakes. But here's the catch. Overthinking doesn't solve problems. It amplifies them. So how can you tell the difference between productive thinking and obsessive overthinking? That's where things get interesting. Let's break it down further. Not all thinking is created equal. Productive thinking is like a roadmap. It's focused, goal-oriented, and leads to solutions. You identify a problem, brainstorm options, and take action. For instance, planning your day or deciding how to approach a work project falls into this category. Obsessive overthinking, on the other hand, is like driving in circles. Instead of moving forward, you keep revisiting the same thoughts, often fueled by anxiety or fear. It's the mental equivalent of trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. You're stuck. Here's a practical way to tell the difference. Productive thinking feels empowering, while overthinking feels draining. Imagine you're preparing for a job interview. Productive thinking might involve researching the company, practicing answers, and planning your outfit. Overthinking, however, would sound like this. What if I say something stupid? What if they don't like me? Should I even go? Notice the shift. One approach builds confidence. The other feeds self-doubt. The more you obsess, the harder it becomes to take action. The danger of overthinking lies in its ability to paralyze you. Instead of solving problems, you create new ones by magnifying risks and imagining worst-case scenarios. It's like your brain is stuck in a loop, replaying fears and doubts without offering any real solutions. Breaking free requires a shift in mindset. Learning to recognize when your thoughts are spiraling and redirecting them toward action. Overthinking has a way of sneaking into your life, often disguised as harmless reflection. One of the most common signs is replaying conversations in your head over and over like a broken record. You might find yourself dissecting every word you said, wondering if you came across the wrong way or if you should have said something differently. It's exhausting, isn't it? But here's the thing. Those conversations are in the past, and no amount of rumination will change them. Yet, your brain keeps pulling you back, as if solving this imaginary puzzle will bring peace. Another telltale sign of overthinking is the inability to make even the simplest decisions. Should you order pizza or sushi? Wear the blue shirt or the black one? What seems like a trivial choice suddenly feels monumental because your mind is flooded with what-ifs. This is where the infamous paralysis of analysis takes over. You're so busy weighing every possible outcome that you end up doing nothing. It's like your brain is stuck in quicksand, sinking deeper the more you struggle to decide. And then there's jumping to the worst-case scenario in every situation. A small mistake at work spirals into fears of losing your job. A delayed text from a friend becomes a sign they're upset with you. These mental leaps are fueled by anxiety and often leave you emotionally drained. Overthinking doesn't just affect your mind. It seeps into your body, causing stress, tension, and even sleepless nights. But why does your brain get stuck in these loops? Overthinking isn't random. It follows a predictable cycle that keeps you trapped. It often starts with a trigger, like a vague comment from a coworker or a missed call from a friend. That trigger sparks a cascade of thoughts. What do they mean by that? Or are they upset with me? These thoughts quickly stir up feelings of anxiety, self-doubt, or even guilt. From there, your behavior changes. You might avoid reaching out, over-apologize, or obsessively check your phone. And the consequences: more stress, more overthinking, and another trigger to start the cycle all over again. Let's put this into perspective with a real-life example. Imagine you text someone and they don't respond for hours. Your brain immediately jumps to conclusions. Did I upset them? Are they ignoring me? Anxiety kicks in, and you start replaying your last conversation, searching for clues. Maybe you even send a follow-up message, over-explaining yourself. When they finally reply with a casual "sorry, I was busy," you feel relief. But the cycle has already drained your energy. This is the exhausting loop of overthinking in action. Breaking this cycle starts with awareness. You need to recognize the pattern and understand that your thoughts aren't always facts. They're often just stories your brain tells to protect you. But here's the tricky part. Why does your brain latch onto these triggers in the first place? What's fueling this endless loop of rumination? To answer that, we need to dig into the root causes of overthinking. And trust me, they're more common than you might think. Overthinking doesn't just happen. It's often rooted in deeper emotional and mental triggers. One of the biggest culprits, anxiety, your brain's alarm system. The amygdala goes into overdrive, constantly scanning for threats, even when there aren't any. It's like having a smoke detector that goes off every time you toast bread. This hyperactive response makes you fixate on potential problems, replaying them endlessly in an attempt to solve them. But instead of finding solutions, you end up stuck in a loop of rumination, mentally exhausted and no closer to peace. Another major factor is perfectionism. If you're constantly striving for flawlessness, every decision feels like it carries the weight of the world. You hesitate to act because you're terrified of making a mistake or falling short of expectations. This fear of failure feeds the what-if spiral. What if I mess up? What if I'm not good enough? It's paralyzing, isn't it? Instead of moving forward, you stay stuck, analyzing every detail to avoid risk. But here's the irony. Perfectionism doesn't protect you. It traps you in cycles of self-doubt. And let's not forget the role of past experiences. Memories of trauma or embarrassment can leave a lasting imprint, making you hyper-aware of similar situations. Your brain, in an effort to protect you, replays those moments, trying to prepare you for what might happen again. Add to that the default mode network DMN, the part of your brain responsible for and you've got a recipe for when the DMN becomes overactive, it turns harmless thoughts into obsessive loops. Overthinking isn't just a mental habit. It's deeply rooted in the biology of your brain. At the center of it all is the amygdala, often referred to as the brain's fire alarm. Its job is to detect threats and keep you safe. But when it's overactive, it starts seeing danger everywhere. That's why a simple mistake or an ambiguous comment can feel like a life or death situation. The amygdala floods your body with stress hormones, triggering a fight or flight response even when there's no real threat. It's exhausting, isn't it? Your brain is trying to protect you, but it's working overtime. Then there's the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for connecting memories and emotions. When you experience something stressful or traumatic, the hippocampus stores that memory with a big emotional tag. Later, when you encounter something similar, it pulls up that memory, making you relive the emotions all over again. This is why past experiences can feel so fresh, even years later. It's like your brain is stuck in a time loop, replaying old fears as if they're happening right now. And the more you overthink, the stronger those neural connections become. Finally, let's talk about the default mode network. This is the part of your brain that lights up when you're not actively focused on a task. It's responsible for self-reflection and daydreaming. But when it becomes overactive, it can lead to obsessive rumination. Instead of using that downtime to recharge, your brain spirals into cycles of worry and regret. The GI. Understanding the biology of overthinking is the first step toward breaking free. Overthinking doesn't just drain your mind. It takes a toll on every aspect of your life. One of the most immediate effects is increased stress and anxiety. The constant mental chatter keeps your body in a state of high alert, flooding your system with cortisol, the stress hormone. Over time, this can lead to physical symptoms like headaches, fatigue, and even a weakened immune system. It's like your brain is running a marathon it never trained for, leaving you mentally and physically exhausted. Another major consequence is the inability to make decisions. When you're stuck in a loop of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, even the simplest choices feel overwhelming. Should you take that job offer? Should you text someone back? Overthinking turns every decision into a monumental task, paralyzing you with fear of making the wrong move. And while you're busy analyzing, opportunities slip through your fingers. It's frustrating, isn't it? The very act of trying to avoid mistakes ends up costing you valuable time and experiences. Perhaps the most heartbreaking impact of overthinking is how it robs you of the present moment. Instead of enjoying life as it unfolds, you're trapped in cycles of regret about the past or worry about the future. You miss out on meaningful connections, personal growth, and moments of joy because your mind is elsewhere. But here's the thing, while overthinking feels like a prison, there is a way out. The key lies in breaking the cycle and reclaiming your mental energy. Breaking free from overthinking starts with a simple yet powerful technique. Name it to tame it. When you catch yourself spiraling, label the thought for what it is. Just a thought, not a fact. For example, instead of saying, "I'm terrible at this," reframe it as, "I'm having a moment of self-doubt." This small shift creates distance between you and the thought, giving you the clarity to move forward. It's like shining a flashlight in a dark room. Suddenly, the shadows aren't so scary anymore. Another effective strategy is setting a worry window. Instead of letting anxious thoughts take over your entire day, schedule a specific time to address them. For instance, give yourself 15 minutes in the evening to jot down your worries and brainstorm solutions. Once the time is up, close a notebook and move on. This practice trains your brain to contain its rumination, freeing up mental space for more productive thinking. It's not about ignoring your concerns. It's about managing them on your terms. Finally, action is the ultimate antidote to overthinking. Start small. Send that email, make that phone call, or take one step toward your goal. Each action proves to your brain that it's safe to move forward, even if the outcome isn't perfect. Embrace the idea that progress beats perfection every time. And when uncertainty creeps in, remind yourself that no decision is ever 100% risk-free. The goal isn't to eliminate doubt, but to learn how to live with it. So now that you've got these tools, what's stopping you from taking the first step? Overthinking may feel like an unshakable habit, but the truth is, it's a pattern you can break. It starts with awareness. Recognizing when your thoughts are spiraling and taking steps to redirect them. The techniques we've explored, like naming your thoughts, setting a worry window, and taking small actions, are powerful tools to regain control. But here's the real question. Are you ready to stop letting your mind run the show? Because the moment you decide to take charge, everything changes. Think about it. What would your life look like if you stopped overthinking and started living? Imagine the energy you'd save, the opportunities you'd seize, and the peace of mind you'd gain. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress. The next time you catch yourself stuck in a mental loop, ask yourself, what's one small step I can take right now? That single action could be the spark that breaks the cycle and sets you free. So, what's your next move? Are you ready to take back control of your thoughts and your life? If this resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss another life-changing insight. Your journey to a calmer, clearer mind starts here. Let's make it happen together.